When you first get started with match betting or Betfair trading or anything along them lines, you will start to get bored fairly quickly with the small little bits of profit. But one of the most advanced strategies you can get in match betting is the 2-up method. It's very simple to understand once you get the grips of it and have gone through it a few times. It can be a bit daunting because you will get a lot more losses than wins. But let me tell you this, the wins definitely outweigh the losses when they come around. It's very simple and very easy, especially if you've got an OddsMonkey subscription. And if you want to subscribe to OddsMonkey, use the link down in the description below and it will help me out, the channel out, and I think there's some good offers there for you as well. But let's just get straight into the 2-up method. Now I'm going to quickly show you how you can find your 2-ups first and then explain what they are, just because I want to show you how simple it is to find the ones that are going to bring you the best profit. All you're going to do on OddsMonkey is go over to Tools, go to 2-up Matcher, and that is as simple as it is. It's going to show you all the selections that are available, it's going to sort by the rating, and it's going to be that easy for you. You then will just need to follow the process I'll show you next. Now, some people who are a bit more advanced with 2-up will know that you're going to want to adjust the filters. You don't want ones with an 80% rating, just because they're not going to be very great. I like to focus on 95% and above, just because when you focus on a 95% rating, it means your qualifying loss is always going to be at most £1, if not less. So it just keeps your qualifying loss nice and low. You can, of course, if you so wish, do as many as you want and have as big qualifying loss as you wish. That's up to you, but I recommend trying to keep it as low as possible so you can keep your profits as high as possible. Some people will also look to change their back odds and increase them and have a play around. It's all about your personal preference and how you want to adapt your risk to reward. But for me, I've got my own personal setup over here. I've got my 2-up new setup, which has Betfair and Smarket selected as the only exchanges, and it's got 95% plus rating. What I'll do most of the time is focus on the ones with the higher odds, and if there's a lot of selections, I'll go for over 2.0 odds. But I'm normally not too worried about the odds. I'll normally just go with what's available on the day. So you can see we've already taken our selections down from a huge amount to just these 2 games, which are just pretty much the same bet, just with the different exchanges. So let's load up this one over on Betfair and see how we do it. So the instance here is we're going to go place a £10 bet on Real Madrid to win in this match over on Bet365. We're then going to go over to the Betfair exchange and lay Real Madrid with this amount and a liability of £7.31. So now we've got money on Real Madrid to win and Real Madrid not to win. And that's going to instantly cancel themselves out there, and as you can see, we'll either leave with a 31% loss or a 32% loss. But the reason where you generate your money from this is Bet365, Paddy Power, Coral and some other bookmakers have an offer where if your team goes 2-0 up, they will pay that out as a win regardless of the final result. So if in this match here, Real Madrid go 2 goals clear in the match, it doesn't just need to be 2-0, it can be 3-1, it can be 4-2. As long as they are 2 goals clear at any point in this match, Bet365 and the other bookmakers will pay that out as a win. You then hope that Real Madrid go on to either draw or lose the game, because then you will also win your lay bet over on the Betfair exchange, where you've bet for Real Madrid not to win. So here you've won your Real Madrid bet on Bet365 and you've won it over on the Betfair exchange as well. This is how you generate your profit. How likely is this to happen? Not very. But there is other little advanced methods you can do where if a game goes to 2-1 or gets a bit closer, you can extract the profit straight away. But because of how much you will actually win if it happens, it is still worthwhile doing. So what I've been doing for the past 2 weeks is coming onto here, refreshing the results, and as you can see a new one just popped up there, and I've just been going and placing these bets. Now I've got this set. The main reason why you'll have noticed loads disappeared from before is because I've got this set so it's only showing the matches for today. You can go for the next 3 days if you wish. You can go for the next week, the next month, you can do whatever you want. And if you look here, this one's at 97% rating, so it's going to have less of a qualifying loss for placing this bet. But what you're simply going to want to do is just follow this method. You're going to want to go to Bet365, get that placed, go to Smarkets or Betfair Exchange and get that placed. And then you're done. then you can relax and watch the game. If you just want to leave it and let it run, you can do that, and you will get your profit if the team goes 2-0 up or 2 goals clear and then goes on to either draw or lose. But there is the advanced section to this as well, so let me just show you that, and then we'll get into how much profit I've made over the past 2 weeks. So what you're going to do is come over to this tools section, go to all calculators, and then you're going to go to the early payout calculator down here. You can see use this calculator for your early payout or 2-up offers. So what we're going to look at here is how much you can extract and how much profit you will make. So, for example, one of the games I did this on was Fulham versus Tottenham quite a while ago now. And what we're going to do is put in the odds that were for that match. So we had odds of 3.25 for Tottenham to win and lay odds of 3.4 for Tottenham. Now we had a 2% commission over on the Betfair exchange. So you can see we were losing 59p if Tottenham won. We were losing 57p if it was a draw and 57p if Tottenham lost. But let's say you were watching that game and Tottenham went 2 goals clear. You then move this option to be yes. And this essentially means that you've been paid out over at your bookmaker because Tottenham have gone 2 goals clear. And as you can see, if Tottenham went 2 goals clear and still just went on to win the match, you would still lose that 59p, as you'd expect. It's what we knew beforehand. But if Tottenham went on to draw or lose, you would then be winning £31.93. Because you'd be getting the money from the exchange and from the bookmaker, as you can see down here at the bottom. But if we take this match here as an example, you can see this is the odds for FC Emmen over in the Eredivisie, and you can see that they were losing 1-0, so their odds shot up, but then they got back into it and their odds dropped back down. What you can do in this early payout calculator is if a team's gone 2-0 up, or they've already gone 2-0 up and then it's gone to 2-1 and you don't think the other team's going to score another one, you can guarantee a profit midway through that match. So if we're, just to show this as an example, so for example we have Hoffenheim versus Gladbach. It was one of the matches I did my 2-ups on before. Now you can see here, if we scroll down, Gladbach went 2-0 up, and that's who we had this placed on. So let's get these odds put into here. So this was the state of play during that match. We were sat at a nice 41p loss at the moment as Hoffenheim were 2-0 up, or Gladbach were 2-0 up I should say, but then you can see Hoffenheim pulled one back, and this was in the 80th minute, so you might think there was no opportunity for profit there, but when that goal went in, the back odds for Gladbach was sat at 1.32. So you can see here that if we then went and placed a back stake of £27.41, we'd guarantee the profit of £8.37. Now you can do this at 2-0 if you wish. So for example, Liverpool are currently winning 2-0 against Newcastle. You could go onto this early payout calculator and put in the back odds for Liverpool, which is 1.03. But if we just use these odds we've got on the screen at the moment as an example, the lower them odds are, the less of a profit you're going to make. So if we put in 1.03 on here, 1.03, you can see we'd only be making 65p profit. So as the team gets closer and it looks less likely they're going to actually win, the odds won't be as short and you can get a bigger profit guaranteed and locked in. So if the underdog takes the 2-0 lead and you have them bet on, their back odds might still be fairly high. They still might be at that 1.2 or 1.3 and you can guarantee that profit. But it's all about whether or not you believe the other team is going to get back into the match. Now what I did over the course of the past 2 weeks was I simply just came onto the 2-up matcher and I just placed every single one that fit my conditions. So I would have placed this best one here on Real Madrid and I just left them. I didn't do the early nice calculations to get guaranteed profit. I just wanted to do a set and forget. So let's take a look at the results. So here we have it. There was only 27 matches that I did over the course of the past few weeks, but these 27 matches only had one win, and that was Empoli versus Torino, which you can see here. We had Empoli go 2-0 up, and then Torino got back in it and made the game finish 2-2. So you can see here, all the other matches, we were losing around about 40 to 50, sometimes 30p as the qualifying loss. But when we had that one match that won, it won £33.71, meaning we would have won a total profit of £23.52 over the course of them 2 weeks. Now that's not too bad for only one strike. There was loads of options within these matches to gain some profit. As you saw before with the Hoffenheim-Gladbach one, it dropped to 1.32 odds, which would have gave us around £8 profit. There was opportunities in these other matches to do that. But if you do that every time, you're going to miss out on these big profits when they come. So it's all about your personal risk to reward, about what you want to do. Now you might be sat there thinking to yourself, how often does this actually happen? Well, if we take a look at the stats, between the 5 seasons of 2015-16 to 2019-20 in the Premier League teams took a 2-0 lead in 947 matches. Only 60 of these teams then went on to either draw or lose the match. So there was only 60 potential wins out of them 950 matches. So it's not going to happen too often. Now, there's not going to be really an easy way to work this out, because you'd be making a qualifying loss and you'd have to bet on both teams, because you'd have to make sure you've got that bet standing. The qualifying loss for some of them could be a couple pounds. The qualifying loss for others could just be a couple pence. It all depends on that rating that we saw in that match earlier on. But if we just use, for example, an 80p qualifying loss, because we're going to have some qualifying losses that will be short, such as this Union Berlin versus Schalke game here tomorrow, where we'd be losing 24, 25p. But then on the flip side, you can see even here, just on page 4 of the odds matcher, you can see we'd be looking at a £1.47, £1.48 loss. So it's going to be in between them. So I'm just going to use as an example 80p as that loss. So there was 947 matches, which means there was 2 teams in each of them matches. So that is 1,894 qualifying losses. So out of them 947 matches, we had 887 wins. So they are the matches where we would have lost the qualifying losses on both teams. So what we need to do here is do 887 times 2 times 0.8. That leaves us with an initial qualifying loss of £1,419.20. Then we'd also have the qualifying losses of the teams that were on the other side of the draws and defeats, because we would need to be getting both teams matched to get a full realisation of how much profit and loss you'd make from this. So there was 40 draws, 20 defeats, so that means there was 60 teams where they were on the other side where we would have had the qualifying loss. So let's also do 60 times 0.8, which gives us £48. But then we have the 60 teams where we will have done the 2-up method on them, and they have drawn and lost the game. So we will have made profit from them 2 teams. Now if we go to the early payout calculator again, and just again take the one with the worst qualifying loss, the £2 one, and put in the odds over here with our commission and say that they paid out early, you can see we'd have made a massive £82.95 from this match in profit. But then on this one up here, the one where we make the smallest qualifying loss, we would have only made £15 profit. So let's just be really harsh on ourselves and say the average profit is going to be sat at £30, which is what we got in our trade. So that is 60 matches where you would have made £30 profit, which equates to £1,800. So if you had roughly, and this is really rough, don't have a go at me in the comments, I know these are rough calculations and estimates and ifs, buts and maybes, but if you'd have done that on every single match over the past 5 years, matching both teams, you would be looking at just a couple £100 worth of profit. Not worth it in my opinion, and it's definitely worthwhile doing what the majority of people who do 2-up do, and that's keeping an eye on the ratings, keeping an eye on the odds, and using pre-match data as well to know if it's a viable option that this could happen. Keep it lower and you'll be looking at a better profit. In the past 2 weeks, I've only done it 27 times, but I'm looking at £23 profit. If you do every single match, yes, you will probably make profit in the long run, but the profit will be minuscule compared to if you limit the risk yourself. Let me know how you do the 2-up method. Let me know if you've got any tips and any strategies. Do you just go over 80%, over 90%, or do you stick with the over 95%? And what odds do you like to stick at? Let me know if you want to see a video of me fully placing a 2-up, just so you can see it all the way through, and then keep an eye on the match and show you how you can do your early cash out as well. Let me know what you want to see next on the channel, and thank you for watching.